So it never ceases to amaze me that such an abundant number of people exist who defy the belief in God. Despite the overwhelming evidence to prove that God exists, still, somehow, people reject the notion of God. And it's not like there are only just a few people that say God isn't real. No, it's millions of people. It's no different than people like the flat earth people or the people that deny that the Holocaust ever happened. Like, come on, who honestly believes that the Holocaust never happened? I mean, there are literally countless eyewitness testimonies that Adolf Hitler rose to power over Nazi Germany and massacred 6 million Jews. And yet, you're going to sit there and say it never happened? Are you crazy? And it never ceases to amaze me how bold these people are. They will literally get in your face and scream and spit on you if you even try to quote the Bible to them. And I thought atheists were supposed to be rational, tolerant people. It looks like they're just as bigoted and hateful as the Westboro Baptist Church. I mean, come on, people. It's not like reading Homer's The Odyssey when you try to quote the Bible. Although both are historical documents, yes, yet the Bible is rooted literally in Israel's national history, just like the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence is rooted in American history. We are talking about documented eyewitness accounts, and although some would say miraculous healings of blind people and lame people who cannot walk are far-fetched, yet how is believing in evolution any less of a story of a miracle?
What's interesting is that I asked the question, who was the first person? That's the title of the chapter. Every chapter in the book is a question, and every chapter in the book begins with a set of mythical answers, and then the true answer, the scientific answer. So who really was the first person? And I begin with a slightly paradoxical answer, that there never was a first person. Because every animal, every person ever born belonged to the same species as its parents. You can take that back as far as you like, and I take it back to 185 million generations ago. You turn over the page and you reveal that your 185 million great-grandfather was a fish.
Do we have a picture of a fish here?
It might even be there. And at first sight, it sounds paradoxical to say that your 185 million great-grandfather was a fish. But on the other hand, every single generation on the way back there belonged to belonged to the same species as its parents and as its children. The point is, of course, that the whole process is incredibly gradual, incredibly slow. It takes millions of years.
You call my religion fiction, yet the amount of ridiculous claims made by atheistic scientists sounds more like a reading from Dr. Seuss than a science book. Our ancestors were fish? Are you high, bro? Look, all I'm saying is, if you want to stick to the facts, quit attacking things you don't understand, because clearly those who hate the Bible likely don't understand it. It's an ancient book written over thousands of years. Who wouldn't have a hard time understanding it? As a matter of fact, if you read the book of Luke, chapter 24, it literally took a miraculous opening of the eyes by Jesus Christ for the disciples to understand the scriptures. And the Bible has become a book of visions, according to prophecy, for people who cannot stand to hear it, nor can they understand it if they tried. And by the way, just how is there any such thing as an atheist? Supposedly, they don't believe God exists. But the truth is, do atheists even exist? As a matter of fact, it has been said before that not even Richard Dawkins is an atheist. And he supposedly invented this God-hating stuff. Not really, of course, but you catch my drift. In his own words, when interviewed by Bill Maher, he said he was a 6.9 agnostic at best on his spectrum of belief, which means he is not even a diehard 7-point atheist. He's not a full-blown atheist as people assume. He's an agnostic, so he really doesn't even know if God doesn't exist. So if one of the strongest proponents of God hate is not even an atheist, then what does that mean for all of the millions of people out there claiming they don't believe? My theory is that they do know there is a God, And just because God hides himself from the naked eye, this does not mean he hides himself completely from all evidence pointing to his existence. After all, he is God, and God fills the entire universe. How could he possibly be hidden? It's like denying the existence of air. I mean, come on, you're breathing, aren't you? How can you possibly say that air does not exist? It seems like the real problem here lies with the relationship status people have with God. Either they are in a happy relationship with God, or they are not on speaking terms. I imagine that somewhere, in some way, people tend to lose faith in God because they never got their way. It's like that angry, spoiled brat you see at Walmart. You know this little douchebag doesn't deserve a darn thing, and yet when his mom or his dad tell him no, he throws himself on the ground and makes a huge scene. And he may even go so far as to tell his parents that he hates them. I mean, what a disrespectful little douchebag. So that's why I think there is no such thing as an atheist. They really don't exist. In my opinion, they're just throwing a tantrum because they're not getting their way. Spoiled little turds.